Welcome. I am honored to be here today to moderate a panel of incredible Baltimore City School students who are leading and supporting improvement work in our district. My name is Christina Ross, and I'm the Program Manager of Blueprint Initiatives here at City Schools. In this role, I get to support our students in engaging in the work of teaching, learning, and continuous improvement. One principle of continuous improvement that we think is core to our mission and success here in Baltimore is being user-centered. This is how we can honor and include the people, perspectives, and relationships most affected by the system we are trying to improve, while also building a community that sees all of its members as agents of change. As an outgrowth of this orientation to our work, we are pleased today to share some of the CI projects our students are directly leading or contributing to, like our Youth Ambassador Program and Bmore Me School Club, where students are learning improvement science tools to implement an impact project in their schools, and our Bmore Me Student Fellowship, where students are researching Baltimore's history to create a foundation for conversations about improving our school naming process in the district. For other students, their teachers are capturing their voice and experiences to affect change in the classroom and curriculums, namely as part of our NSI's Virtual Engagement Teacher Fellowship Program and our Bmore Me program. My favorite thing about Baltimore is the power and potential of our young people, followed perhaps by our crab cakes and our chicken wings. I'm proud to share this virtual stage with these incredible students and excited for you to hear the learnings and challenges of our work from our experts. And with that, I'd like to introduce our panel. I'll start with Camille. Camille, can you come on out to the virtual stage and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, my name's Camille. I'm a freshman at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I've lived in Baltimore all my life, and I'm super excited to be here today. My favorite thing about Baltimore is the downtown area where the aquarium is, because it's kind of where you can see all the cultures of Baltimore coming together, and it just makes this beautiful metropolitan type area, and I love being there.
Thanks, Camille. Next, I'd like to introduce Cameron. Cameron, come on out to the virtual stage, please.
My name is Cameron. I go to regional at Philois. And my favorite thing about Baltimore is like the parties that's being thrown and like just being outside. I like going outside.
And Cameron, you're a freshman, right?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Next, we'll bring out Danielle. Danielle, come on out to the virtual stage, please.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I go to Digital Harbor High School. I am a sophomore, and my favorite part about Baltimore is the fun and the realness. Everybody you meet in Baltimore is so real. They don't hold nothing back. They'll tell you the truth, and I love it.
Thanks, Danielle. I love that about our city too. All right, and next up, I will introduce Kai. Kai, come on out to the virtual stage.
My name is Kai. I go to Baltimore School of Design, and I am a junior there. I've been in Baltimore for my entire life, and the things that I like about here is definitely the art. The art is very astronomical. It's something that you won't see anywhere else because the art here is deeply rooted in the urban life of Baltimore and the city, the harbor, the county. It all has a story to it, which comes together, and it really makes an entourage of what Baltimore really is about.
That's beautiful, Kai. Thank you. And last, but certainly not least, Kamaya. Kamaya, come on out to the virtual stage, please.
Hi, my name is Kamaya. I am an 8th grader. I'm 14 years old, and I attend Fort Worthington Elementary Middle School. My favorite thing about Baltimore would be like all the fun that everyone has, and how much dancing and music roots from here. And I also love the history of Baltimore. I find it so interesting.
That's awesome. I was just thinking when you were saying that about how Cameron was saying that too, about the parties and the block parties, and Danielle was talking about the people, and Kai was talking about the art and culture, and then Camille, the beautiful geography and landscape. And like, our city is so powerful. You guys are wonderful. Let's get into it. I'm going to start by asking Danielle a question. Danielle, can you tell us a little bit more about Bmore Me? How did it engage you as a student?
Bmore Me helped me engage with school and being a student more because it made me feel like I had a voice. And Bmore Me, they made us talk about what would we change with our school and if we could add in classes. For example, I said that I would like to have classes to help us be better adults in the future, like classes, entrepreneuring classes to help us create our own business, and taxes classes, because let's be real, we're getting older here and we need to learn how to do our taxes. And some of us don't even know how to write in cursive. So we can't sign our signatures and none of that. And I just really would like us to have classes for that. And Bmore Me project helped me feel like I had a voice and that my words meant something. So I really like that opportunity.
Thanks, Danielle. Can I ask you a follow-up question really quick about that?
Sure.
As a young person, how do you think being empowered to use your voice might influence you in the future, in your future, or as a citizen?
It definitely changed my way of how I thought. I feel like now when somebody talks to me, I can really say what I feel and speak my mind and not have to feel weird about it or feel like I'm going to get judged about it, because my opinion is my opinion and I have a right to my word.
Thanks, Danielle. Cameron, I'm going to go over to you now. So Miss Morrell, your teacher, is part of a group of teachers trying to understand how students engage virtually in this, like in the virtual classroom. What are some ways that you've seen her trying to understand how you and your classmates are experiencing like online school? And how does it make you feel to get to do the things that she's doing to help understand that?
It makes me feel motivated to like basically go on, because I know she's trying to help me and as well as the other students in my class to like succeed. And she does things like asks us to like put a 1 in the chat, or like if we're reading together to like put our answer in the chat privately to her, so that she's know that we're on track. And even if we don't know the answer, she don't just want us sitting there. She want us to like say one of the answers so she can help us. I will also say like she goes on Go Guardian, like if we're off task, to like help us get back on task. And she also like maybe puts an answer or two on our work just to help us out.
And Cameron, has she ever done like surveys or anything like that in the classroom?
Yes, we just did a survey today on like how she could better help us, or like if she's doing enough to help us.
And as a student, how does it feel to have your teacher like asking you for ways to make the classroom better?
It feels good to like have your teacher ask that, because you don't like, maybe she wouldn't say, most teachers don't care about like how you feel or like asking you about how you feel. They just teaching you and just going on about that day. Like you really don't find a teacher that actually cares, and that's like it's really motivating me to do good.
That's great, Cameron. We'll be sure Miss Morrell will be really excited when she sees this panel too, to hear that. So, all right, I'm going to jump over now to Kamaya. Kamaya, can you tell us a little bit more about Youth Ambassadors? What is it? What are you all trying to do?
Yeah, sure. The Youth Ambassador program consists of scholars from different schools who all see something in their schools that need to be changed. There are 2 students that are picked from about 12 different schools who all see things that they want and need to be improved. As youth ambassadors, we are trying to work toward making those changes happen for our schools. For example, one of the things that my fellow youth ambassador and I are working toward to fix in our school is communication. We feel like the communication between the students and staff is not the best in our school. We gave a group of students a survey, and one of the questions were, how likely are you to speak up if you are being bothered? And a handful of students said that they wouldn't speak up. And this is just one of the problems we really want to be fixed, because students should be comfortable with speaking to someone if they are being bothered or being bullied. And this is just an example of what us as youth ambassadors are trying to do. We are trying to improve our schools and change them for the better.
That's awesome, Kamaya. I'm going to jump over to Kai, who's also a youth ambassador. And Kai, so in Youth Ambassadors, and then also your school is doing the Bmore Me Club too, which is launching this week and working with youth ambassadors. But in these two spaces, you've talked about things like seeing systems and using data. How are you using these things to solve a problem in your school?
Yes, so when we gather the data that was given to us from students, we see a problem that can be in the data, or what we call a trend, where we can see that there's a consistency of what people are speaking on or what people are not speaking on. And as Kamala has said, there's not enough students speaking out when they feel uncomfortable. So we, as ambassadors and our new addition, our Bmore Me Club, we want to improve that to make a better environment for our students so that they can actually get the improvements that they need.
Thanks. And Kai and Kamaya, I'm going to ask you both this, and either of you can answer, or both of you can answer. Why is it so important for students to be at the center of improving things in the school? So why do you think it's important that you as youth ambassadors and the Bmore Me Club are kind of leading this work in your school?
We find it very important because as we are students, we two of us experience of what we can and cannot say firsthand and how the outcome could or could not be, either maybe just superstition or out of fear that what if I get in trouble? What if I do something that's going to make the teacher get on the bad side? Like, we wouldn't want that. So we would want reassurance. We would want communication that the teachers are on our side and the teachers can get the higher ups on their side for our side, if that makes sense. But yeah, we want to work hard to get the students to say what they would like to see in their schools, like to see taken out of their schools. If there's something that they're not satisfied with, we'd want to accommodate their needs. And we wouldn't have to seem intimidating about it because we are students too.
Kamaya, anything to add to that, or did Kai nail it?
Yeah, Kai nailed it. I completely agree with him. That is very true. I agree.
Yeah, thanks, Kai. So next I'm gonna move over to Camille. Camille, you're in the Bmore Me Student Fellowship. Can you tell us a little bit more about that fellowship and how it is providing an opportunity for you to add your voice to a district policy initiative?
Yeah, so Bmore Me Student Fellowship is a fairly recent thing. It's about a group of high school students from across the city, all from different schools, coming together to work on researching the history of our school system and renaming or rewriting the policy for naming schools. So we're trying to sort of change the way that legacies are reflected in the school. We're trying to figure out, who deserves to be memorialized. Do these names represent our students? Do these names make our students comfortable? And we want to do our best to work to have names that represent our city and represent our student body.
So Camille, I'm going to ask you a very similar follow-up question that I just asked Kai and Kamaya. You're influencing a district-wide policy. Why is it important that students are part of improving policymaking in our district?
Well, I think number one, students are the people who are primarily influenced by these policies. So when you have bad policy that doesn't take student emotions into account, then that can worsen the mental health of students. It can make students disengage from school. It can make school seem like a bad place, and that's not good for education. So I think when you have students who are able to speak up and show their voice, it inspires other students and it makes the whole student feel better, not just academically, but also emotionally.
Thanks, Camille. So now I'm just going to open this up to everyone. Our audience for this panel are people working in districts across the country and in schools across the country. What are some ways that that you think these districts and or city schools, because we definitely have room for improvement too, what could they do more of or less of to improve and make school and the experience of being in the classroom better for students?
I would say more listening to your students and asking them what's wrong or if they need help with anything, and less just assuming that we're okay and assuming that we understand and assuming that the school district and the curriculum is everything's okay, because it's not. So just ask, and ask us how we feel about things. You see a student walking in the hall, probably skipping class. Ask them what's wrong with that class. Don't just assume they just feel like skipping class.
Can I just add to what Danielle said? I think students should be involved in like board meetings as well, because those are really the people at the top who are making these decisions that influence all schools. So I think if you want to make policies that make students happy and make them more comfortable, they absolutely need to be involved in every step of the process. So the board meetings and the administration meetings. And I think you should have students that are kind of bridging the gap, like youth ambassadors that can talk to their student body and also talk to people who are higher up.
Thanks, Camille. Anyone else want to give advice to people making decisions in districts, our district and other districts?
I would say that there should be less limitation, because we as Baltimore City students can see that there's a lot of limitations for where we need to get our full needs, and there's like not enough wiggle room for us per se, because there's like a lot of boundaries within Baltimore City's public school system. And it's been there for like years. It's been there for years, and it hasn't really changed much. And if it has changed, it's just a little slightly, or it's accommodating to more of the parents than the students, and the students overall just don't feel like nothing is better. But we can start making more effective this by getting student opinions out there in the most approachable way. Because surveys can be one thing, but let's see what we can do with other things, like maybe a rally or like an assigned thing. Students are more driven to do something that's more, that gives them a reward. Like we would want the students to have a feeling that they've done something very good, so they're getting something very good in return. Not only that they're getting a very good system coming, they're going to get something to remember it by. They're going to get a reward that makes them feel good about themselves for doing it in the first place.
Kai, I appreciate that a lot. What I'm hearing you say is that, like, when students are engaged, a lot of times as districts, we just do like survey after survey, but there are other ways to engage students. I'm wondering if there's a time for anyone here that you have, and I think Cameron, you kind of hit it a little bit when you were talking about Miss Morel, but where you felt like really engaged or excited by something that the district was doing or something that your teacher was doing? Like, there, can you think of a time when you were like, yes, I like this. This is why I want to go to school?
Well, I could think that from my personal experience, my school, we do shout outs. We do weekly shout outs of people who have really done some community service for their service learning hours, or teachers that done some good grading, or the students in general is doing a good job in their classes. We do weekly shout outs, and it gives them that boost to do it again and keep on doing it and see who gets the next shout out. Because like it's kind of that like anticipation, like, oh, that's so cool. I wonder who's gonna be the next person shouted out. And it'll just be it'll be like more active, and it wouldn't feel like it's going to slow down anytime soon. And I feel like that could be one thing that we as a district could try implementing, and maybe if they get a shout out, possible reward. That's where I can implement that.
What makes me feel the way you just asked us to say is when you email me. When I see your emails and I know I'm gonna get into something that's gonna help better my school, I just feel like, oh my God, I'm doing something. I'm helping to the next generation that will have to grow up on our generation, Gen Z, you know. I feel so bad for them kids. Oh God. They're gonna have fun and they're gonna learn a lot. They're definitely gonna be some fighters. But I definitely feel so amazing when I get to see your email asking me to participate in something. I feel like my word is definitely getting around. So thank you so much. I love the opportunities.
Danielle, I love that. And I mean, I obviously love every time I get to talk to you, but what I'm hearing from several of you is like giving you guys as young people, giving you all the platform is not just a place for you to share your ideas, but also it's like empowering you in ways that might it will influence generations behind you, which is a really, really cool thing. So last question, and I know we kind of hit on this a little bit, but why is it important for districts to give you all this role in improving? Like the folks that are here listening to our panel are really focusing on how they can improve either schools or districts to make them better for students. So why is it important that you all as young people are part of it, and how would you maybe encourage them to engage young people in their districts and or schools?
Well, I think if you want to engage young people, all you really have to do is ask. Because I know, at least for me personally, like the second I saw Bmore Me, and it was like, oh my gosh, I have the opportunity to influence something, like everyone I know wants that type of outlet. So really, all you have to do is communicate it, you know, put up a poster or send out an email, and people will absolutely respond because people do want to invoke change. So it's not hard. You just have to ask and get the word out.
For me, a person with social anxiety, if you want to get me to engage with something, you have to come to me personally. Like just us alone, nobody else around, come to me personally, and then I'll feel more comfortable with opening up and voicing my opinion. Like this is really out of my comfort zone. So it feels weird, but at the same time, it feels amazing.
Danielle, it's cool. This is out of my comfort zone too. I am the same way, so don't worry. We're uncomfortable and amazing together right now.
Yeah, and I'd like to add on to that. Like when you're coming to these students, especially students who are very anxious for change, they would want to feel like almost as adult level as the people who are coming up to us. Because yes, we may be young, we may be finding out some stuff of our own, but we still have that basic level of respect. So we would want the higher ups that are like in the district to treat us as like equal and see that we have lives too that are almost as mature as theirs. Like there's some students that have a job already, especially during these times of the pandemic. They have to have like something going on to get them keeping afloat while this is all happening in our lives. And the district wasn't prepared for that. It didn't seem like there was much accommodation for students and pandemic with school. So they tried their best to just keep it going as normally scheduled as it is, but you see that it doesn't work. But we will want to be seen as like, yeah, we can handle certain things, but not everything.
Kai, I really appreciate that. I think what I hear you say is that like students should be treated like equals, as equal users in the system. Like you are the most important part of our school system. And so how you are experiencing things should be considered as equally, but also as equals, we also have to remember that you are whole people and you have a lot of things going on in your life besides virtual school, and those need to be considered and part of the conversation when we're talking about how to improve our school systems and our schools also. Did I get that right? I kind of like, oh, all right. Any other last words or advice for districts and schools that are trying to improve for their young people?
I mean, I absolutely agree with Kai. Don't belittle your students. Don't underestimate their issues, or, don't treat them as just grades and names on a roster. They're whole people with emotions and mental health issues and family issues. And so I think if you want to improve life for your students, you have to know your students and you have to be able to talk to them.
I see a lot of nodding.
Yes, because as me, I have been through a lot during this online learning experience. I don't really attend class as much as I want to, but I get all my work done before I go to bed at night. And it's not stressful, but it's stressful for me to be my age, working, moving. I just moved into a new home and little cousins that I have to look after. It's a lot on me, and I have to email my teachers like every week explaining to them, and it's like sometimes they don't understand, but they try to understand the work. They try to work with me, and I try to work with them as much as I can. I took off from work so I can like take this whole week to get everything together and catch up on my grades, because it's the third semester, and I have to pass this year. I think it's second semester.
Second semester, third quarter.
Yeah. Third quarter, and my mind is set on passing, so I decided to slow down a little bit and calm myself and ground myself before taking on a whole lot and a whole bunch. So school right now, I'm focusing on that, but sooner or later I have to get back into work and worrying about other things like an adult. I'm 16, well, about to be. So it's a lot, but my teachers are very understanding as much as they can be, and I appreciate that.
Danielle, I appreciate that, and thank you for sharing that. Okay, go ahead.
To add on with Danielle, I've noticed the workload is about the same or almost as too much as it usually is when we're in an in-person school environment, because since you're inside and the days are like longer, the work is also longer. And it really does extend it too much to where you just can't really get to it. And not only that, you got things going on at home. Like you got things to look after, to take care of. You have to probably go to work soon. You got to take care of some family soon, all of it. And it really does get in the way. It really does. And we as the students want to see a change in that, even if it's like a subtle change, like maybe they can take off, make it asynchronous day, and we could like accommodate something to that would really be helpful for people who have things to do. And I think it would really make an impact.
Students, thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience and expertise with us and with all of our guests at this convening. It was certainly powerful to hear your voice and to learn from you. We are really honored to be part of this convening and this NSI network, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about our work moving forward. And I know that Jen and I will talk a little bit, but we can also share my email address if anyone wants to talk a little bit more about our work in engaging students in the improvement process.